Every city wakes in the same quiet way. People make coffee. Children eat their breakfast before school. Cars enter the steady flow of the morning commute, headlights still on in the early dark. Phones light up with messages from friends and family, small beacons of connection in the palm of a hand. Stores unlock their doors. Lines form at the checkout counters, a familiar rhythm of daily life. This is the pattern of a normal day. It is a pattern built on an unspoken promise, a shared belief that the world will continue to turn as it always has. This is the foundation upon which we build our lives, our plans, our sense of security. We believe tomorrow will look much like today. But this same belief, this deep-seated trust and continuity, can also make us slow to act when things begin to change. It can blind us to the small signs that the world is shifting under our feet, lulling us into a dangerous state of inaction. Then a small failure happens. It is not dramatic. It is not loud. A power cut in a distant part of the city. A computer glitch at a major shipping port. A single delivery of essential goods that is unexpectedly late. At first, these are just minor inconveniences. Many small failures can happen at once, like a series of dominoes tipping over in slow motion. There are no sirens wailing in the streets. There is no fire on the horizon. There is just the quiet, creeping sensation of things stopping their work, one by one. The first 24 hours are defined by confusion, not chaos. Most people try to hold on to the familiar pattern of their day. They drive to work only to find the office closed, the systems down. They decide to head home, stopping for supplies along the way. This is where the first real cracks appear. They wait in long, slow-moving queues for gasoline, the mood growing more tense with each passing minute. They walk into the grocery store and decide to buy a little extra food, just in case. But thousands of other people have had the same thought, and the shelves begin to empty with surprising speed. The digital world, our primary source of information, begins to falter under the strain. The internet slows to a crawl as millions of people try to access news sites and social media simultaneously. Cell phone calls drop. Text messages fail to send. In this vacuum of reliable information, rumors take hold. If a message looks urgent, if it confirms a person's growing fear, they share it without a second thought. Why do people wait? Why, in the face of growing evidence that something is wrong, do so many choose to do nothing? Part of the answer lies in a simple, normal, human reaction. People expect the world to fix itself because it always has before. The power has always come back on. The stores have always been restocked. This psychological tendency is called normalcy bias. It is the assumption that a problem is temporary, that life will soon return to its usual rhythm. It is a cognitive shortcut that allows us to function without being overwhelmed. But in a true crisis, it can be a fatal flaw. The behavior of the crowd also plays a powerful role. When the people around you do not appear to be panicking, you are less likely to panic yourself. This is known as herd behavior. We are social creatures, and we constantly look to others for signals on how to react. If the streets are calm and your neighbors are going about their business, it is easy to convince yourself your anxieties are an overreaction. This collective calm can be reassuring, but it can also suppress the urgent need for individual action. It creates a dangerous feedback loop. Everyone waiting for someone else to make the first move. Our deep dependence on complex systems is another profound reason for inaction. Power company, electricity, water authority, clean water, banks, securing money, grocery stores, stocking food. These systems are so integrated into our lives that they feel permanent and infallible. On the second day. On the third day, the quiet changes. It is no longer the peaceful quiet of early morning. It is a heavy, watchful silence. The constant hum of traffic has faded. Many stores that were open the day before now have handwritten signs on their doors. Closed until further notice. The few that remain open have long, orderly lines outside. People wait, hoping to buy whatever is left. Inside, the shelves are almost completely bare. An empty grocery aisle, discarded packaging on the floor. The vibrant, bustling energy of urban life is gone. replaced by a slow, cautious stillness. People move with purpose, but without haste. The strain on essential services becomes visible and acute. Police and emergency services, already stretched thin, are now overwhelmed with calls. They must prioritize the most life-threatening situations, which means countless other calls for help go unanswered. Hospitals, the last line of defense, switch to backup power. But these backup generators have a finite supply of fuel. They are designed to last hours, at most a few days, not weeks. By the end of the first week, the landscape of daily life has been redrawn. Neighborhoods, once just a collection of houses, become the central unit of society. The invisible lines between properties become more pronounced. On one street, neighbors gather in a front yard. They are sharing information. They are pooling resources. They are organizing a watch schedule. A small island of cooperation forms in a sea of uncertainty. On the next street over, the atmosphere is different. Doors are locked. Curtains are drawn. A tense quiet hangs in the air. Suspicion has replaced trust. This contrast reveals a fundamental truth about human nature in a crisis. Events don't create monsters. They reveal what people already value. Many instinctively choose to help. Many choose to share. Many choose to build community. Their first thought is the group's well-being. A few, driven by fear or opportunism, choose to take what they can. A few hoard resources. A few prioritize their own survival above all else. Most people sit in the middle, pulled between better angels and deepest fears. The balance between cooperation and conflict is fragile and can shift daily. Natural leaders begin to appear. An accountant organizes schedules and coordinates a rota for collecting and boiling water. A stay-at-home parent with a stocked pantry cooks extra meals for elderly neighbors. A reclusive neighbor works as a skilled mechanic fixing generators or pumps. Leadership becomes practical skill and calm inspiration, not a title. Prepared and unprepared households stand out. Homes with a plan, water, non-perishables, cooking without power, look calm from the outside. Inside, people are concerned but not desperate. They've bought time to think and adapt. Homes with no plan look frantic. People there make desperate choices and take risks. The fragility of modern existence is laid bare, house by house, street by street. It was never as robust as we believed. The hardest part of a sustained crisis is not the initial danger. It is not the storm, the blackout, or the empty shelf. The hardest part is the slow, relentless wearing down of the human spirit. Exhaustion begins to grow like a shadow over everything. People lose sleep, staying awake at night to listen for strange noises or worrying about the next day. The body and mind, deprived of rest, begin to falter. They make small, poor choices that start to add up. A person forgets to boil water properly. A parent snaps at a frightened child. A simple disagreement with a neighbor escalates into a bitter argument. This state of constant, low-level stress leads to a condition known as decision fatigue. In normal life, we make thousands of choices a day without much thought. But when every choice is critical, how much water to drink, how much food to eat, whether to trust a stranger, the mental energy required is immense. When you are tired, your brain looks for shortcuts. You choose the easiest route, not the wisest one. That route often leads to bad outcomes. You might be more inclined to trust a loud, confident voice on a crackling radio, even if the information is wrong. You might take a risk you would never consider when rested and clear-headed. Sleep is not a luxury, it is a biological necessity. Without it, the human mind begins to unravel. After several nights of poor or interrupted rest, cognitive functions decline sharply. Memory becomes unreliable. The ability to concentrate on a task is diminished. Lighting a fire, purifying water. Emotional regulation fails. Small frustrations trigger disproportionate anger. A sense of hopelessness can set in. The world begins to feel like a dream, hazy and unreal. Judgment becomes dangerously impaired. This is the quiet killer in any long-term crisis. The stress is not just mental, it is a deep, physical burden. The body, flooded with stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline. It remains in a constant state of high alert, Fight or flight helps short-term, but sustained it causes systemic damage. The immune system weakens. Susceptible to illness from contaminated water. Susceptible to spoiled food. Digestion is impaired. Blood pressure rises. The body starts to consume its own muscle tissue for energy. The slow erosion of the self is a physical process as much as a psychological one. This internal breakdown is the real adversary. It is more dangerous than an empty pantry or a locked gas station. A person who has lost the ability to think clearly or control their emotions is a danger to themselves and to those around them. They may give up. They may become paranoid. They may take foolish risks. The struggle for survival becomes less about finding resources and more about preserving one's own sanity and humanity. The impact on a group is magnified. Family members, neighborhood watch, sleep deprivation, and chronic stress. The potential for conflict skyrockets. Misunderstandings multiply. Trust erodes. The cooperative spirit that may have emerged in the first week can quickly dissolve into suspicion and infighting. A group that cannot manage the psychological health of its members is doomed to fail, no matter how many supplies it has stockpiled. The real playbook for survival must therefore be written around the management of sleep, stress, and morale. It is the most critical and most often overlooked aspect of preparedness. The greatest threat isn't violence, it's exhaustion. Why people freeze or make bad decisions after prolonged stress is simple. The mind and body are worn thin. And yet, humans don't just survive. We adapt faster than we think. Then, slowly, people adapt. Humans are creatures of habit. When old routines are destroyed, we are remarkably quick to create new ones. This is not a conscious decision. It is an instinct for self-preservation. A family that once scattered for work and school now sets firm times to wake up, eat their carefully rationed meals together, perform daily chores. Neighbors who barely knew each other before now establish shifts to stand watch over the street, manage the community water filter. These new routines create a sense of predictability in an unpredictable world. They are anchors in a storm. Cooking, once a convenience, becomes a central ritual. People learn to use what they have. They cook over open fires in their backyards. They cook on small camp stoves. They learn which foraged plants are edible. They learn how to make a filling meal from beans and rice. The act of preparing and sharing food becomes a powerful tool for building morale and community. Water, once taken for granted, now requires a multi-step process of collection, filtration, purification. These tasks are laborious, but they provide structure to the day. They give people a sense of purpose and control over their immediate environment. Leadership evolves. It is not always the person with the loudest voice. It is not always the person with the most supplies. True leadership in this new context is about providing calm, practical guidance. It is the person who can create a fair and simple plan for rationing a shared resource. It is the person who listens to everyone's concerns before making a decision. It is the person who does not make promises they cannot keep. These small acts of competent, quiet leadership create order. And that sense of order can spread from one house to the next, creating a network of resilient micro-communities. This period of adaptation teaches a vital lesson. Planning, mindset, community, adaptability matter far more than gear. An expensive water filter is useless if you do not know how to maintain it. A large stockpile of food can be lost to spoilage or theft if you have no plan to protect it. The most valuable assets are not things, skills, relationships. The ability to fix a leaky pipe, administer basic first aid, grow a small garden. A trusted neighbor who will watch your back is a greater source of security than any lock on your door. Adaptability is the ultimate survival tool. Over the course of days that turn into weeks, life does not return to what it was, but it does not vanish either. A new kind of normal begins to grow in the cracks of the old one. Some small local stores may reopen, operating with limited goods and for just a few hours a day. Bartering becomes common, trading skills, trading goods directly. A local farmer's market, long dormant, might spring back to life. People with gardens sell or trade their surplus produce. The city, once a hub of global commerce, becomes a patchwork of local economies. It breathes in a different, slower rhythm. The real story of survival is quiet. It is found in the small, deliberate decisions made every day. Discipline to go to bed and get some rest, even when you are anxious. Foresight to set aside a little water for tomorrow. Neighbors sharing a simple meal and a moment of conversation. Keeping a calm mind when others are losing theirs. Creating and following small, simple rules that provide fairness and structure for everyone in the group. Leaders who listen more than they talk. Learning new skills quickly and teaching them to others. This is not a tale of doom. It is a study of human resilience, a practical lesson in how we can continue living with dignity and purpose when the complex systems we depend on fail. Not a firefight in the streets, but the mental and emotional endurance to manage a long-term disruption. Not an abundance of gadgets, a community of trusted friends, a portfolio of practical skills. How to act when the world we knew stops, and a new one begins to take shape. In the end, true preparedness is not an act of fear. It is an act of care. The choice to create a simple plan so that your family is not a burden on others. The choice to learn how to fix small things so you can be of service to your community. The choice to get to know the people who live on your street. The choice to prioritize your physical and mental health. These quiet, deliberate choices, made long before a crisis hits, make the biggest difference when it matters most. They are a refusal to be helpless. The slow rebuilding begins not with grand pronouncements from distant authorities, but with these small, local acts. Small, local acts. Neighbors helping, community volunteers, shared food, street cleanup. Life changes, but it continues. Schools might reopen with volunteer teachers. Schools might reopen with staggered schedules. People learn new, more efficient ways to travel. People learn new, more efficient ways to shop. People learn new, more efficient ways to communicate. The silence that fell over the city at night might stay for a while, a lingering reminder of fragility, but the routines of life, in new and altered forms, will eventually return. The human need for structure, the human need for community, the human need for purpose. History teaches us disruptions are not an anomaly. Weather events, economic shocks, cyber incidents, breakdowns in the supply chain. They are a normal, recurring feature of a complex world. We have built a civilization of incredible convenience and efficiency, at the cost of resilience. We have forgotten the old skills and wisdom that saw our ancestors through hardship. We have placed our faith in systems more fragile than we care to admit. Preparedness is not about hoarding. It is about planning. It is not about building a fortress. It is about building a community. It is not about fear. It is about refusing to be helpless. Those who fare best in any crisis aren't necessarily the strongest or the wealthiest. They are the ones who decided, on a quiet, ordinary day, to think ahead. They practiced small skills. They built strong relationships. They knew their well-being was tied to their neighbors. The real survival playbook is written in forethought. The real survival playbook is written in cooperation. The real survival playbook is written in calm. When the lights go out, ordinary people keep living. They do so by making small plans. They do so by helping each other. They do so by adapting and creating new routines. They do so by refusing to surrender their humanity to fear and exhaustion. The capacity for resilience exists within all of us. It is a muscle that can be strengthened through practice and intention. Our modern world has allowed this muscle to atrophy, but it is not gone. It is waiting to be rediscovered. The fundamental question is not if the world will be disrupted again. The question is, who among us will be ready?